You think they're resting. Lights out, phone on the nightstand. A soft glow sneaks through the blanket, and the story begins. Your teen's eyes look closed, but their brain is still awake, flooded by a color it can't see but fully feels. Blue light. It comes from everywhere now. Phones, tablets, TVs, even the tiny notification flash that blinks like a heartbeat. To the brain, that glow means daytime, and the body obeys. Heart rate stays high. Melatonin, the sleep hormone, stays low. Rest turns into waiting. Parents notice the result, not the cause. I gave them 8 hours in bed. Why do they still wake up tired? Because what counts isn't hours in bed, it's hours in real sleep. According to a 2024 Stanford Sleep and Behavior Lab study, just 2 hours of evening screen exposure delays melatonin by 70 minutes in teenagers. That's the difference between sleeping at 10 and sleeping after midnight, even when the lights are off. And yet every parent believes they're doing fine. Homework on the laptop, one show to relax, 5 minutes of scrolling before bed. But those 5 minutes are enough to trick the circadian clock, the 24-hour rhythm that decides when every cell repairs itself. Melatonin isn't just for sleep. It's the trigger for healing, growth hormone release, memory consolidation. When it's late, everything is late, from tissue repair to immune defense. That's why blue light fatigue doesn't look like insomnia at first. It looks like slower recovery, weaker focus, more mood swings. Parents, before we go further, tell us in the comments what time your teen usually puts their phone down. You might find hundreds of families facing the same invisible pattern. Now, imagine the brain as a city with streetlights that dim when night arrives. Melatonin is the electrician that shuts them down so the cleanup crews can work. Blue light flashes like a false sun, and the electrician never gets the signal. So the city stays bright while the workers wait outside. That city is your teen's brain. And those cleanup crews are the neurons that sort memories and repair connections during deep sleep. When they don't get their shift, the brain wakes foggy, irritable, and unmotivated. A 2023 Harvard neuroendocrine trial proved this link chemically. Teenagers exposed to tablet light before bed showed 50% less melatonin and 25% more cortisol, the stress hormone that belongs to morning, not midnight. Their bodies thought they were in a permanent sunrise, and the problem is timing. Adult eyes filter some blue wavelengths naturally as we age. Teen eyes are clearer, a biological design for learning and alertness. That clarity makes screens twice as potent. It's like pouring daylight straight into the brain at 10 p.m. So it's not their fault they can't sleep. Their biology was built for a world that used fire and stars, not LEDs. What happens next is subtle but serious. Sleep cycles shift later each night. Melatonin drops further. The body stops trusting the clock entirely. Morning arrives, but the brain is still in maintenance mode. That's why you see it. The slow walk to school, the midday yawn, the evening meltdown. These aren't character flaws. They're circadian consequences. In a 2024 Oxford Youth Sleep Survey, researchers tracked over 3,000 students across 10 countries. Teens with bedtime screen exposure had 40% higher rates of daytime fatigue and twice the risk of mood instability. Even after controlling for diet, exercise, and stress, the light alone was enough to shift the entire nervous system. Here's the irony. Blue light isn't bad during the day. It keeps us alert, boosts reaction time, even improves memory. But at night, it turns from coach to thief. It steals rest from tomorrow to feed distraction today. Parents ask, should I install night mode? It helps, but not enough. Those filters only reduce blue light by about 20%. What wakes is distance and timing, the simple act of removing screens 1 hour before bed. That single hour is worth dozens of supplements and apps. When the brain sees real darkness again, it starts to breathe differently. Melatonin flows, body temperature drops, heart rate slows. Dream cycles return to their original order, the one evolution wrote. Yet most homes stay lit like mini cities until midnight. overhead LEDs, TV glow, charging lights. We've removed darkness from childhood, and without darkness, there is no deep sleep. A simple rule can change everything. Dim the world before you dim the eyes. Lower lamps after 9 p.m. Use warm tones instead of white. Replace overhead bulbs with soft amber. You'll notice something magical. Voices get quieter, movements slower, breathing deeper. That's biology recognizing night again. Because night is not just the absence of light, it's the signal for every system in the body to switch from doing to healing. Without that signal, healing never starts. And that's what's quietly happening in millions of homes right now. Kids go to bed, but their bodies stay on duty. They lie still, but inside, everything keeps working, waiting for a darkness that never fully comes. Parents see a sleeping child. Science sees a body still in wake mode. Cortisol stays elevated. Heart rate refuses to dip. Brain temperature runs 1 degree too high for REM sleep. A 2023 NIH sleep imaging study confirmed it. When teens used phones within 30 minutes of bedtime, their deep sleep brain waves, the slow, restorative delta waves, were reduced by 37%. That's not minor. That's the difference between healing and just resting. And because deep sleep is when the brain cleans itself, literally, toxins linger. Beta amyloid, the waste product linked to poor focus and later life decline, is supposed to flush out at night. Without darkness, the glymphatic system never finishes the job. So the next morning, that residue feels like fog. A child says, "I don't know why I'm so tired." And the parent nods, "You went to bed early." Both are right. Both are missing the hidden variable, light. But here's the hopeful truth. The brain forgives fast. The first night you dim lights and remove screens early. Melatonin rebounds within an hour. By the third night, circadian rhythm begins to resync. By the seventh, REM patterns normalize. The body never forgot how to sleep. It just lost the cue. The cue is darkness. Darkness is not an enemy. It's a vitamin. It's the nutrient we forgot to include in modern parenting. You can start restoring it tonight. Begin with the small things. Move chargers out of the bedroom. Switch the bedside lamp to a warm bulb, 2700 Kelvin or lower. Cover LED indicators with tape. Make the room slightly cooler. The body needs a 2 degrees Celsius drop to enter deep sleep. Then for the final hour before bed, replace scrolling with something analog. A short talk, a gentle stretch, a few pages of a real book. These changes sound small, but to the nervous system, they are seismic. A Harvard Children's Hospital pilot study found that teens who followed a digital sunset routine, screens off 1 hour before bed, fell asleep 28 minutes earlier and reported 34% higher morning energy within 10 days. Same school, same homework, same life. Only difference, less blue light, more dark. And once that pattern sets in, everything else follows. Grades rise not because of harder work, but clearer minds. Mood improves not through therapy alone, but through chemistry aligning with the sun again. Even appetite changes. Late-night cravings fade when melatonin and insulin stop fighting each other. That's how connected it all is. Light touches hormones. Hormones touch hunger. Hunger touches mood. Mood touches focus. And focus builds the life ahead. So teaching your teen to manage blue light isn't just about sleep. It's about teaching them to control their inner weather, the chemistry of calm. Let's imagine that first night. The phone stays in the hallway. The room glows gold instead of white. Conversation softens. They fall asleep a little sooner. The next morning, they wake up with that rare look. Rested eyes. No circles, no fog, no sigh before breakfast. That's not luck. That's alignment. The body finally remembering the oldest rhythm on earth, day and night. And that rhythm is the ultimate secret. Because in the end, healing doesn't come from more hours, more supplements, or more apps. It comes from the one thing we've been turning off, darkness itself. Parents, tell us in the comments, what time do screens go off in your home? What small change will you start tonight? Because every home that rediscovers darkness gives the next generation back their mornings. Healthy sleep, calm minds, bright days, that's the secret worth sharing. When the brain remembers darkness, hormones remember balance. Melatonin rises, cortisol falls, serotonin resets. That simple exchange, light for calm, is the quiet foundation of every stable mood. But when that exchange never happens, chemistry starts to blur its lines. Cortisol stays high through the night, and the body forgets where morning ends and evening begins. It's why teens who text late often wake up anxious for no clear reason. The brain is built to expect peace at night, and when it doesn't arrive, it calls the absence of calm anxiety. A 2024 Harvard Neuroendocrine Review measured this precisely. Students who used phones past 10 p.m. had cortisol levels 30% higher the next morning, even after a full night's sleep. To the body, the glow of the phone was an emergency beacon. Every ping said stay alert, and the body obeyed. That's how modern light quietly trains the nervous system to expect crisis. The mind becomes restless, attention scatters, patience thins. Parents call it attitude. Science calls it dysregulation. You can watch it happen in a week. Day 1, 1 extra hour of screens. Day 3, bedtime slips by 15 minutes. Day 5, melatonin delay. Day 7, morning irritability, appetite loss, dry eyes, shallow breath. It looks emotional, but it's biological lag. And once the rhythm drifts, even small stress feels heavier. The prefrontal cortex, the part that chooses calm, works 25% slower on less sleep. That's why ordinary homework feels overwhelming, why small disagreements feel enormous. But there's another layer parents rarely see: light and appetite. When blue light suppresses melatonin, it also interferes with leptin, the hormone that signals fullness. So the body thinks it's still daytime and craves quick energy. That's where the midnight snacking begins. Sugar spikes, insulin rises, the next morning crashes. A circle of tired, hungry, wired, tired again. In one 2023 Stanford Nutrition Sleep crossover trial, teens exposed to screens after 9 p.m. consumed 23% more calories before bed than those who powered down early. And the weight gain wasn't the danger. It was the metabolic confusion. Their internal clocks shifted forward by nearly an hour. Chrononutritionists now call this digital jet lag. But the good news is, the clock can be reset. It doesn't require perfection, only pattern. Begin by teaching light hygiene the way you once taught toothbrushing. Same time, same order, same calm tone. Screens off, lights low, body still. Within 2 weeks, melatonin timing recovers naturally. Within a month, cortisol steadies. Focus improves, not because of stricter discipline, but because chemistry finally has rhythm again. You'll notice the difference first in silence. The house will feel softer after 9. Conversations shorter, laughter easier, sleep deeper. That softness is biology aligning with the planet again. Now imagine the hormones as waves. Cortisol should peak at 8 a.m., fade by midday, melt by night. Melatonin rises at dusk, rules the night, bows to dawn. When screens push light late, those waves collide. Cortisol doesn't retreat, melatonin can't rise, and the child's brain floats in chemical noise. No wonder mornings feel like hangovers. The remedy isn't punishment, it's ritual. Ritual tells the body you're safe to rest. A warm drink, dim light, a few stretches, a whispered goodnight instead of scrolling. Ritual replaces blue light with belonging. And belonging repairs more than sleep. It repairs the hormones of trust, oxytocin and serotonin. When those rise, stress hormones fall without a pill. That's why family connection is the oldest medicine against fatigue. Even 5 minutes of genuine presence can recalibrate a teen's entire evening chemistry. No lecture, just being there, device-free. The brain reads eye contact as sunlight of another kind. Because presence is its own kind of light, the kind that heals instead of harms. When a parent sits nearby, the nervous system senses safety. Heart rate slows, breath deepens, cortisol drops. In that quiet, melatonin has space to rise again. Researchers at Oxford tracked 200 families for a month. Those who replaced late-night phone use with shared reading or calm talk regained, on average, 40 minutes of true restorative sleep. 40 minutes doesn't sound like much until you multiply it by every night, every year of adolescence. That's hundreds of hours of brain repair regained. This is the hidden math of modern life. Every minute of blue light borrowed from night steals a little concentration from morning. Every hour of lost darkness steals a little mood stability from the week. But give the body back its rhythm, and it pays the debt quickly. Sleep deepens, focus lengthens, emotions steady. You can see it in the smallest things. The way they hum while brushing teeth, the patience that returns during breakfast. Those are chemical victories. Yet most parents still underestimate how fragile melatonin is. Even a bathroom light at midnight can reset the clock. That's why true rest starts with designing the room itself. Think of a bedroom as a cave for healing. Soft walls, warm lamp, no screens, no charging glow. Cool air, dark curtains, simple bedding. This environment speaks directly to hormones in a language older than speech. Night has come, you are safe. When that message repeats nightly, the endocrine system begins to predict it. Anticipation is half of rhythm. The body learns to start releasing melatonin before lights go out, just as hunger rises before meals. That's the secret of effortless sleep, the cue, not the command. A 2025 Harvard Adolescent Health Project confirmed this anticipatory rhythm. Teens with consistent wind-down cues, a fixed bedtime playlist or dim light pattern, fell asleep 20 minutes faster than those given random schedules, even with identical total light exposure. The brain trusted the signal because it was familiar. So, rhythm becomes medicine. And in a world that glorifies stimulation, rhythm is rebellion. Teach your teen that winding down isn't weakness, it's intelligence. That calm is not the absence of fun. It's the foundation for tomorrow's energy. Because when rest becomes sacred, performance follows naturally. You'll start to notice more than just better sleep. Skin clears, eyes brighten, memory sticks, mood swings flatten. That's not magic. That's melatonin doing what it was always meant to do. Organize every other hormone. It coordinates growth, immunity, even metabolism. When melatonin rises on time, growth hormone follows, insulin balances, digestion slows for repair. The entire body hums in harmony. Blue light broke that orchestra. Darkness conducts it back. So create a digital sunset. Announce it softly, not as a rule, but a ritual. Let the lights dim together. Put phones on a shelf, face down in another room. Let evening belong to quiet tasks, preparing school bags, laying out clothes, writing small gratitudes. Every night lived in this rhythm teaches the brain that rest is rewarding, and soon it won't need reminders. The body will begin to crave the dark the way it once craved the glow. And when the body begins to crave darkness again, you'll see something beautiful. They'll start turning screens off on their own. They'll say, "I'm tired," not because they're drained, but because they're aligned. That's when you know the healing has reached the subconscious. Sleep becomes less of a task and more of a return. A return to biology, to balance, to peace. Melatonin, cortisol, serotonin, 3 notes in a perfect chord. Each one rising and falling with light, with sound, with care. When light obeys nature, so do they. And yet, the world outside still glows 24 hours a day. Streetlights, headlights, billboards, all signaling stay awake. That's why this change begins at home. Home must become the pocket of darkness that the modern world forgot. Start small. Warm bulbs instead of white. Curtains that clings fully. Phones charging in the kitchen. Books left beside pillows. Lamps with dimmers, night routines with rhythm. These choices whisper to biology, you are home, you are safe, you may rest. The most advanced technology in your house isn't the phone. It's the pineal gland, the tiny seat of light behind the forehead that governs sleep and renewal. It evolved under stars, not screens. It still listens for night. A 2024 Stanford Chronobiology review called it the body's forgotten solar panel. When it senses darkness, it powers the repair grid for the entire body. When it doesn't, systems stay half-charged. That's why so many teens live in twilight, never fully awake, never fully rested. They exist in perpetual dimness, both literal and emotional. But turn down the lights, and you'll see their spark return. The jokes come back, the patience returns, the appetite balances. All because hormones finally found their rhythm again. Parents sometimes asked, isn't this just how modern life is? It doesn't have to be. We can't erase screens, but we can control when they speak to the brain. The key isn't denial, it's design. Design nights that feel sacred. Design mornings that start with real light, not artificial glow. Because sunrise resets what midnight undoes. In one simple experiment, researchers exposed teens to 5 minutes of actual dawn light before school. Just 5 minutes. Their melatonin cycle advanced by half an hour, and their mood scores improved by 18% within a week. That's the power of real light. Gentle, golden, timed by nature. So maybe the antidote to blue light isn't darkness alone. It's rhythm. True rhythm. Day balanced with night. Stimulation balanced with stillness. Information balanced with silence. Every family can create that rhythm, no matter the schedule. Turn routine into ritual, ritual into restoration. Because every good night builds a better morning. And every better morning becomes a calmer day. And every calm day grows into a life that doesn't need constant noise to feel alive. That's the quiet revolution. A generation learning to rest again. Parents, try this tonight. 1 hour of warm light, quiet music, no screens. Watch how quickly the body thanks you. Notice how the house itself seems to breathe easier. That ease is the sound of hormones aligning. It isn't luck. It's design. Divine, biological, ancient design. And maybe that's the real secret the blue light tried to erase. That rest is sacred, darkness is healing, and balance is the body's original intelligence. Let's teach it to our children before another generation forgets the night. Healthy rhythms, peaceful minds, restored mornings. That's the secret worth keeping and the wisdom worth passing on. Because what begins as a little glow on a screen becomes a glow inside the body. It teaches every cell what time it is. And when the lesson is wrong, the body pays the tuition in exhaustion. But when light obeys rhythm again, healing returns quietly. You don't have to notice it to feel it. Morning stretches feel easier. Breath deepens. Smiles come sooner. Darkness, it turns out, isn't emptiness. It's medicine disguised as stillness. A 2025 Harvard behavioral sleep study found that teens who experienced true darkness 8 hours a night, not just eyes closed, but full absence of artificial light, showed 25% higher learning retention and 40% lower stress hormones within a month. Not from supplements, from silence and dark. So maybe the miracle parents keep searching for has been hiding in the oldest part of the day. The part without noise, the part without glow. Let's make night sacred again, not only for sleep, but for sanity. Turn down the world so your child can tune back into themselves. Because sleep is more than rest. It's the rehearsal for resilience. Every healed cell, every balanced hormone, every restored mood begins in that invisible hour when the lights go out and the body finally whispers, "Thank you." And if you could see what happens then, how memories arrange themselves, how stress dissolves, how the immune system files every defense, you'd guard that darkness like treasure. So guard it, make it routine, Make it beautiful. A cup of warm milk, a dim lamp, a soft laugh. That's the rhythm that teaches calm better than any app ever could. Because the future doesn't belong to the most connected generation. It belongs to the most rested one. Parents, which of these small changes will you start tonight? Tell us below. Your simple idea may become another family's turning point. And if this story helped you see the night differently, share it. Let's build a community of homes that still believe in darkness, rhythm, and rest. Subscribe for more science-backed stories that turn everyday routines into lifelong wellness. Because light created the world, but darkness keeps it alive. Healthy rhythms, peaceful homes, rested hearts. That's the secret worth keeping. And when your teen sleeps deeply tonight, remember, the world outside still glows, but inside your home, you've restored something ancient. Real night, real rest, real peace.